welcome everybody
Yeah.
to Chaos to Clarity. And we're going to be talking about systems thinking, the AI tools and the future of what we do in real estate technology, making it efficient, making it effective. But one thing that I do want to make sure that you are aware of is that if you're not in real estate, this still applies a lot. So we're going to go with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess, to kind of get things kicked off, my name's Cody Stepp. I'm a second generation real estate technologist, and not too many of us around, but I've gotten the opportunity over my professional career to spend in pretty well every job, every title, every role within the real estate technology space. And now I get to run and manage my own software company. I get to do it alongside a true legend of real estate technology. He's built two of the most used real estate CRMs of the past, the first one being on-prem. I, as a child, remember watching the CDs actually burn, navigating into cloud-based. He launched a SaaS, software as a service, and now we get to work together in an AI native space. And so that's going to be what we're going to be trying to squeeze everything together and really look at how technology has advanced and gather some insights. We're going to get to showcase a lot, and there's a couple of frameworks in here for those of you who like to learn. But without further ado, Mark Stepp.
All right. Can you guys hear me okay, just doing it this way, or do I need to go ahead and do full mic? Okay. So, yeah, my name is Mark Stepp. I have spent the last 35 years in the real estate CRM technology space. Cody was fortunate enough to grow up and help me whenever he was young. I mean, really young. We've got photos of him, in the office doing things. So he's grown up around this a lot. But the thing that has most excited me about what technology can do comes down to a story that my first business partner that I had, we were teaming up, we were doing stuff together, and I came up to her and I said, Peggy, why is it that you've shared with me all your insights on real estate, technology, or the things that you want, and I can bring the technology in, but why did you share that with me? And she goes, Mark, you got to understand something. She said, I was a nurse and I wanted more freedom to do things that I want to do with my family and stuff. So I got into real estate. Well, anybody that knows anything about real estate knows you don't have a family life, really, because you're constantly helping people. And she found that in that switchover, she was spending so much time away. She needed something to be able to do things better. And that's where we've come in and we've created technology to help her do what she wanted to do. And it comes down to the premise of systems thinking. And so we're going to go through that today and just kind of go through that piece. Before we actually get started, I do want to get a quick survey, and it's obviously going to be quick. Are there tech people out here that are building building solutions for customers? Raise your hand if you are. Okay. Anybody that's real estate, like you're actively selling anything? No. Okay. So
Makes it much easier.
Makes it much easier.
Yeah.
One of the things that we could do is kind of guide this talk based off of one or the other. What I want to do, how many are just business owners that want to use technology? There we go.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. We will actually be helping you understand this. Understand that it is coming from that real estate side, but it doesn't matter. What we're going to be teaching and sharing has to do with standard business practices using AI, using technology. So,
excellent. So, the first question that I like to kind of let's get it out in the open. Let's bring it to a hedge. Why are two real estate technologists talking about AI? Well, we've realized that real estate's a really great use case, just like Mark said, that'll transcend several different industries because it covers kind of the best of everything. It's physical assets, it's human relationships, and it's time-sensitive execution. And I guarantee inside your business, you have some sort of physical assets. You're building relationships, whether it be with your teammates, your clients, or any type of sale that you engage in. And then it's time-sensitive execution. And these are all really great use cases that we can plug AI into directly. And we know that because that's what we're doing inside of our business. And so hopefully what we're going to be able to showcase to you through the lens of the work we get to do in real estate is exactly how you can start to solve these with some AI.
So whenever we're talking about systems thinking, we're really talking about the idea of automation. But there are different levels of starting points that we get from many of our clients. Some people, they have zero technology. To deal with a client, they'll write their name on a piece of paper, or a napkin or something, and they'll bring it in, and then they'll start making phone calls off that napkin piece, and it's just not scalable. And we get people that are in that situation. We do also have those clients that they do have some technology. They'll use spreadsheets or a little bit of a database of some sort, but many of the automated tasks, the repetitive tasks that they should be doing, don't get done automated. They simply are there. They having to do those parts manually. But then you also have those people that use the tools, they use the automations, they've got them in place, and sometimes it's just weird that it doesn't flow well. So we're bringing those three groups of people under our umbrella of an application to be able to help them through it, and then also include the AI to be able to let them actually mitigate all the things that they're currently doing manually, let it be done in a majority of the time, let it do those things automatically.
So what we're going to be addressing today is a little bit of what we like to call systems thinking. And because you guys are part of the audience, you too are going to be systems thinkers. Now, we don't have extra t-shirts, so I do apologize, but you can start stepping into that role as a system thinker. But let's talk about, what is a systems thinking person going to do? Well, it's the art of thinking about developing and turning those manual processes into automations. If it's an email you've sent more than twice, it should be a template. If it's a template you've used more than twice, it should be a system. And so starting to look inside your business for areas that you're doing things again and again, those are what we like to call the low-hanging fruit. And as you start to identify them, you can add automation to it, and you've engaged in systems thinking. So the key insight here, since most of us are tech builders or business owners that are trying to use tech, is if you are trying to build things for the perfect day, they're going to break. There's chaos in how we engage in life, how we go through tasks and priorities, timeline shift, customers reach out needing to reschedule. And so if you're building for the perfect day, you're going to end up with more chaos. So you have to start thinking about not only the systems that we're implementing, but how can we ensure that we build in the guardrails so that we can actually achieve, we can move to more clarity.
The way we do that is something that I've taught for many years, is what I call the core strategies. CORE is an acronym for conversions, operations, retention, and experience. The experience is really a glue that holds the first three together, but we're going to go through each one of these. For conversions, everybody has some sort of lead management. People come into your business some way. Your process of getting them into your establishment, getting them into your business, educating them, nurturing them, the process of actually getting them to sign on the dotted line to be your client of some sort is that conversions process. We use inside of our software, the Systems Accelerator Manager, is a series of different tools. Many of them landing pages. Everybody uses landing pages, but we go a little bit deeper and start using assessments. And those assessments, which are landing pages, also give you insights to what your customers' needs are, but it also educates them on what they may not even know, the predicament that they're in or the challenges that they have, and thinking through that. And then we can use AI to be able to create these landing pages and assessments, but also evaluate the input that they give us to be able to better prescribe the solutions that they need. So we use landing pages, assessments, just lead forms, using AI to scan. You take scan photos and just automatically bring it in, let the AI educate itself on that person, grabbing the information, putting it into the database, trying to make things much easier for data input, and then also setting up the important dates whenever leads come in. What do you do with those leads? Well, hopefully you're putting them on some kind of, and I hate the term drip campaign. We don't really prescribe to drip campaigns, but what we are saying is that you can set up an experience from the time somebody comes into your business all the way to the time that they close in terms of a real estate process. Go through an entire process, a workflow process. We call them routines, but you're sending them through, and everything is based off of important dates that cause triggers.
So an example of this might be an important date for the birthday. This is a really easy one to understand. If you learn someone's birthday, you can add it to their contact. And if you've built out a system for that birthday, maybe it's something as simple as, hey, a week before their birthday, let me know so I can send them a handwritten birthday. Just like Mark was saying, you're giving that really great experience. And then on that day, maybe you're going to send them a text that could be automatically sent. Maybe you're just going to add them to a call list, give them a quick little birthday call. You can sing to them if you want. But when you learn their birthday, you add it to the contact, the system can automatically kick that off. That way you don't have to remember, oh goodness, this is their birthday a week before, I need to schedule. All of that can automatically be done. But what that's doing is it's allowing you to engage in that automated process, and you can do that for the conversions so that we can start to build relationships. Real estate's a relationships business, but I guarantee your business is relationships based too.
Whenever you're dealing with this, once you learn that part of systems thinking, I mean, that's very basic. Once you realize this, now what can we use as far as AI to be able to incorporate into some of these pieces? Having it bring in those names automatically, having it automatically generate your processes, have it automatically send out all that. So now you can focus on building the relationship with your customers as opposed to maintenance on them all the time. Mm-hmm. You go from conversions in the real estate business and many others, you go from converting that get signed on the dotted line to the operations. Where do I make my money? And this is for real estate agents, it is the listing to contract to close process. If you've ever either bought or sold a house, you know that there is a long series of things that have to happen. It can take a few weeks to a month to get everything all in line, all the deadlines, all this stuff. And you can utilize systems to be able to do that. And if you get your system set up properly to handle statuses and checklists and messages and dealing with all the party members, all the team dashboards and stuff being updated, that type of stuff is a time suck normally for most businesses. And what we do is we help automate that and also use AI to incorporate that. Retention. Now, once you go through that long process and once you close on that house, typically it's going to be anywhere from 3, 5, 7, 10 years down the road before they will buy from you again. So typically you need to be able to keep up with them and keep reminding them that they are, you're there and you want to help them. Not just them, but maybe people that they know as well. So same type of thing, making sure that your call lists, whenever you go to make a phone call to them, what did I talk? Man, that was a couple years ago. What did I talk about? And you can use AI to hit your database, find out what you last talked about, what are things happening. Maybe it goes out and it grabs information off of Facebook or whatever. And the information can be utilized to assimilate talking points and being able to make conversation and do things. It's all about building relationships.
And this in real estate is probably one of the most low-hanging fruit because most real estate agents know they should have, but often don't engage in this retentions behavior until it's way too late. And it usually happens when they're out for a drive, they swing by a neighborhood they've sold a property in, and they see someone else's sign in it. And it's like a dagger in the heart because they realize that they dropped the ball somewhere. And so engaging in these retentions-based behaviors, you can use AI, you can use automation, but ultimately we're going to talk to you about this next one, the experience, about how you can cook that into your retentions. I like to call it the golden goose of real estate, building a repeat and referral. That way, instead of buying leads, you can actually have people being sent to you. You can become the expert in a certain area, and business just becomes much more enjoyable because it's leaning into what you're good at, in real estate at least. Oftentimes it's relationship building. And so when we talk to real estate agents, this is the one thing I like to point at most, because spending some time building out this retention, it's not only a safety net, but it can be the lifeblood of your business long term.
Exactly. And then again, experience just wraps those three together. If you can create an experience for somebody that's memorable, nothing worse than going to a bad restaurant and bad service. They didn't give you the service that you wanted. Are you going to go there again? No. It's just just a bad taste in your mouth, literally. But if you give somebody a good experience, they're going to be more likely to do repeat business with you. They're also going to talk about you in their circles, making sure that the people that they know that may be buying or selling homes or whatever business that you're in, if you're giving them a good experience, you're going to be able to retain those people, but also get new people back in. So one of the things that we want to do is talk about, and I'm going to talk two tech terms, is I hope it's the only two that I really do. Deterministic versus non-deterministic. Deterministic is the thought that I do something like the birthday example Cody gave, where day one I do this, day two, day three. It's very deterministic. It goes in a certain pattern every time, from A to Z. You go through the entire alphabet, A through Z. Non-deterministic is what most AI agentic type things that are out there do. You've got a point A and you got a point Z. How I get there, I don't care. I just want it to be done for me. That's non-deterministic. So what I want to do is show you some examples from within our software, how we utilize both of them inside of SAM, the Systems Accelerator Manager, in order to help give that experience to our customers whenever we're dealing with the conversion side of this, the C part of core, whenever we're bringing in leads. So I'm going to run this and just kind of describe this as we go along here. So this is part of the software. One of the things that we want to do is create a new routine that is built on first-time home buyers that is a lead nurture. A lead comes in, what do I want to do? Well, I can immediately come in here, and I'm going to pause this just for a second. I can come in here and say, okay, I know I want to be able to create something, let AI create something for me, the non-deterministic part, but there are certain things that I want to make sure we achieve. And in this case, I'm saying I want to create a first-time home buyer lead nurture, sending email and SMS every 2 days for the first 10 days, giving them tips, tricks, and advice on first-time home buying. Okay, so I'm using my words, but I really don't care what it creates as long as it's within the realm of what I'm saying here. Okay, so in this case, I'm using AI to do this. And the very first thing that I did there was I said, okay, I want to use Sam, the little AI piece right here. I really want you to prompt engineer. You've heard prompt engineering. Many people don't know what that is, and they don't really care necessarily, but AI can be tweaked in a way to make more sense to the AI. Now, you can just say something and it'll give you something, but is that something what you really want? And to prompt engineer your content to make it more in line with what you want, there are certain things that you want to do. So we can let Sam actually prompt engineer it for us and let it go through and build. So it took my 3 sentences and made it more of a larger paragraph of pieces. Now, once I've got all this, I go ahead and say generate. Now, this is where the brilliance of AI comes in. Not everybody knows what all they want in their experience of things. You want to get from A to Z, but you don't really know what all you want in between. Well, AI, because it knows marketing, it knows information about first-time home buyers, it knows things about your business, whatever that is. You may have internal knowledge of things that you want to achieve. You can take that and you can put it into the system. Now, you can do this exact same thing through ChatGPT. It's like, Mark, I do that every day through ChatGPT, obviously. But what we do is we take it a little step further. Once it's created the information, once it's created that process, we then come down here and say approve and build. And what it will do then is it takes each one of those elements and it starts building the entire process for you, putting it into your database so that you're not having to build it out yourself. Now, if you were to do this, we've had users that have taken full weekends, book a place at the Holiday Inn, and they just plan, they want to get away from everything, and all they do is talk systems and processes. Well, now you can do this within minutes within the software instead of days or weeks even at some point. So what it does is it goes through, it went through, it said, okay, you wanted 10 days worth of content, each one of those having either email or SMS. It takes each one of those and it does the math part to say, okay, on every 2 days, here's lead item number 1, number 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And then it's done all the math for all of the content. It's created the action. It knew that it needed to do an SMS or an email. It created all the content that goes along with it in your voice. Now, one of the things that we do is as we are setting people up using the software, and you should be doing this in ChatGPT and everything else you do if you're using AI, is determine your voice. Everybody talks about it. Just want to make sure everybody knows. Is if they say never meet your heroes because typically they're not quite what you thought they were. Many times people will have content written for them and it's not them. It sounds great, but once you meet them, it's like there's a disconnect. And what we want to do is make sure that as you are creating content, that content relates to how you normally speak, you normally talk, and you normally do your conversations. So it has created all the content in the way that we want it to do, and then it would go through the process of actually sending this whenever a brand new lead comes in. Then as soon as that key date the contact gets put in the database, the new lead date gets filled in, this automatically kicks off, and then you're off to wherever you want to go, because now you're freed up to do the things that you want to do.
Excellent. So this is an example of workflow automation. We've had that for a long time. It's these sequenced events. Mark calls it deterministic. But the other side of the coin is the stuff that AI can really start to flex, our non-deterministic pieces. So the next one is a resource creation tool. So for the longest time, and this is actually kind of where the software started, the best advice has been create resources put them on your website, and then trade lead details, email, phone number, name, whatever, for those resources. And these would be helpful guides and stuff. Well, what you can do now is you can say, hey, I would like to create a resource. We've taken our core strategies that we just defined, and we've built it so you can focus your resources on any one of these different areas. So for this example, we're building that lead magnet. We want to attract more leads into our business. And then this all kind of started because I realized that real estate agents were struggling to know what to say to ChatGPT when it first came out to be able to build these resources. So now you just have to click a couple of buttons. You talk about the area of real estate they're focusing in. My example is first-time home buyer. And then that member voice, just like Mark was saying, is how do you like to write? And then from there, all you do is you share an objective. What's your overall goal? What are you hoping happens because of this resource? And then you hit begin. So giving folks the ability to predefine, hey, here's step A. I don't really care how we get to step Z, but I do need to get to step Z. That's what this software is able to do. Now, just like any good philosophical individual, it's going to ask some questions. But I like to call these the tuning fork because it's really honing in the AI's understanding. They like to say AI has read every book out there. And so if I'd read every book, I would have way too much information. I'm going to have to ask some questions. Now, all of those answers are pre-filled in just so that you have a place to start. But you go through this line of questions, you add, you edit, adjust. We call that human in the loop. And then once you have all of this kind of built where you want to, you can let the AI do the rest. But what it's going to be able to do is it's going to say, okay, I know he wants to build a lead magnet. I know it's for a first-time home buyer, and I understand how he likes to write. I asked him a bunch of questions, and from those questions, I have kind of zoomed in on exactly what I think needs to happen. And so now it's created a resource for me. Well, this is a good place to start. I'm probably going to spend a lot of time editing it, and I'm going to have to go into some other application and actually make it look ready. I can't give this to an individual. And this is where being able to integrate with other pieces of software really comes in. So one of the integrations that we actually have in our software is with a company called Gamma, Gamma.app. It's actually what this presentation was made on. But we can take this and we can send it off to Gamma and we say, hey, this is everything we need. Can you make it look nice? And what it can do is it's going to ask, hey, what's the overall goal of this? What are we hoping to accomplish? This is a reoccurring theme. We give it a little bit of information. Once we have all of that pre-built in or stated kind of explicitly, we just send it to Gamma. And then what Gamma is able to do is it's able to create those print-ready resources. Now, this is much better for us to be able to put in front of a customer, right? And so now we got from point A, I need to build a resource, to point Z. We stayed in the loop, human in the loop. We were making sure we edited the content. We were making sure we gave it some guidance on what it's actually trying to create. You could put this in front of a customer and you could trade lead details, get business out of it, all thanks to that non-deterministic path.
In this case here, the other thing that was also incorporated was using Manus AI to do some more deep research, which you can do to bring in information about Springfield, Missouri specifically on this one. So it's just a way to take all that information, grab it, throw it up to an AI of some sort to create great looking content. And you can go in there and set up different types of look and feel and stuff, whatever you want to there.
So this kind of connects when you build these resources, you're trading details, and then you add those automations. But there are other things that can be done. Now in the real estate side, we have properties, listings, and transactions that we have to manage.
Many times you're dealing with photos and you're creating content off of those photos. Again, you can do some of this stuff with ChatGPT or Perplexity or many other different tools that are out there. The key thing here is being able to do them in bulk and being able to utilize them within context of the rest of the data that you've got. In this case, we've uploaded 5 different photos and we said, hey, we need AI to describe this information for us so that we can create listing details, listing descriptions, flyers, all this kind of stuff. So we're using AI to go in there and say, oh, hey, this is a photo of a kitchen. It's typed it, it's given a title and a full detail of what it is. Now you can go in there and make adjustments or whatever, but it takes all that information, puts it in there, and then it loads it into the system so that you have immediate access to the photos and to the information about each photo, and you didn't have to spend any time doing it. Many times real estate agents will spend 10, 15 minutes on each photo just trying to think about what I need to write. And here we've done it within a matter of 5 of them within just a couple minutes. So then you can take that information and use it in open house presentations or walkthroughs or virtual tours, stuff like that, and it uses all that content that was generated in order to do that. Or you can take this information going into the listing. You get a brand new listing, a property of some sort, and you need to put it into the MLS, or ultimately it gets to Zillow. Everybody knows Zillow, but that information then can be filled in from all those photos, all the other details, numbers of bedrooms and bathrooms and all that kind of stuff to build out a property description. And then many times in a MLS, it limits how much information you can put in there. So keeping the same context, but limiting the size of the message is something else that we do for the system. So just things that take time, figure out in your business, whatever that business is, what is it that I can do to make it quicker and simpler using the technology that's available, doing that systems thinking.
So I think we've got one more example, and this one's kind of cool. So before I started Workflow Secrets, one of the jobs that I had at a real estate CRM was doing outbounding cold calls. And I would make 100 phone calls a day, and 105 of those did not anticipate me calling them. They did not want to have a conversation. On top of that, the system I was using was calling multiple people at a time, and then I would have about 3 seconds to read their name. I'm also dyslexic, so that never went well. And then have a good conversation with them, try and convince them that this software that they did not want, and they didn't know I was calling to talk about, was the right software for them. Kind of a difficult challenge. And so looking at what is a bad experience that's pretty common, not just in real estate technology, but generally speaking in a lot of sales, and figuring out how can we make that better. We were able to apply AI using this non-deterministic path.
One of the things that we did here was, and I actually mentioned it earlier, is you're going to make a phone call to somebody. We can get talking points. It goes out, it finds the historical information, any notes, anything that has to do with that client, and then it starts building out the content for talking points, things that you might want to talk about through the process. And each one of these you can drill down and get more detail about, and as you're going through. The coolest part about this is whenever you do make the phone call, it can obviously record and transcribe that call, give the sentiment analysis, give the summary of it. It gives you all the information back for you to do stuff. But whenever the conversation, at the end of the conversation, AI goes in and says, hey, you mentioned that on Thursday at 2 o'clock you want to do a listing appointment. Let's set that up real quick. So it goes and it creates that appointment for you. Oh, you also said that you wanted to do this at this time. And it goes and it finds the actionable items that you can do within the system and implements those into your plan. It does ask if you want to add these, but these are different things that any AI should be able to do for you if you get that information into the system.
So these are all great examples. Hopefully, maybe you start to see deterministic, non-deterministic, as well as how we're using AI. And so, kind of talking about where SAM is today. Mark, you probably know best about, what have we built in? What is SAM?
Yeah. So here's the thing, guys. I enjoy what I do as an engineer, as a software programmer, as a business owner. I love what I do. And the best part of it is now, even though I'm an engineer, I don't have to be an engineer to do what we do now. SAM, the software that we've created, is self-aware. What does that mean? Well, if I say, hey, one of my clients said they need this feature, it can actually build itself. It can go out there, start creating the pieces. Now, I can go in there and say, okay, these are the things that I want to incorporate. I can get more detail. Hey, let's brainstorm this. And I start talking to the development part of this and actually can create it. What does that mean in your business? Well, technology is getting to that point where a lot of people can be doing this. Now, do you want to be creating this by yourself? Maybe not. But I want to make sure that you guys are aware that technology is at a point right now, using lots of different tools that are out there, Claude, other things, that give you the capability to build using the tools that's out there, giving you the ability to create and brainstorm the things that would make you more productive in what you do on a day-to-day basis.
So this is a really cool picture of where SAM is today, but I want to kind of paint the picture. Maybe you guys can engage in a little futurism with me, because this is the direction we're taking SAM, and just as technology people, it's kind of fun to think about, right? So real estate agents are oftentimes not in their office all that much, but their CRM, their systems, all these different softwares that they have kind of require them to be in the office or in front of a desktop or a laptop. And so what they end up doing is they end up putting all of that work at the end of the day. They end up working 6 days a week, 7 days a week. They're losing time with friends and family. So the direction we're taking SAM is to start to remove that kind of need. Imagine you're driving along, you're headed to your next appointment, and you're having a conversation. Now, if I was just to glance over into your car, it's going to look like you're on the phone with someone. But this time, you're not on the phone. You're actually talking to your software. You're talking to SAM. It's telling you about the person that you're about to go meet up with, giving you those key insights so that you have a really great, productive meeting. It starts to actually share those insights so that you can build stronger relationships. And then it starts to say, hey, we have 3 emails queued to go out today. Let's review them. And it reviews them with you. You get them dialed in. It starts sending them off. And then it warns you or lets you know, hey, you've got a meeting coming up at noon. You need to make sure you're at this part of town. It's giving you your whole day. And at this point, you're not having to spend all of that time sitting at a desktop. You're just working as work comes to you, and you're engaging in this. And this is all being done with your software. The benefit of this is as you work with it, it learns more about you, and your software becomes your business. It has full context of your business, and it's helping you grow your business. So that's where we're headed. It's agentic systems, AI agents. We like to call them AI assistants because real estate agents, it's kind of confusing. Managing other systems, systems thinking. It's all of these processes. It's not just data storage. Right now, the biggest hurdle in real estate technology and really CRM, customer relationship management, is that these systems were built in the 1990s, Salesforce being the first one, to digitize the Rolodex. Now that's kind of funny to think about. We haven't really advanced past that. So actually understanding and using that data, this is an easy task for AI, so we should be deploying that. And then actually getting them and just releasing them from having to be at a desktop and using all of that context. That's where we're taking SAM. Hopefully that's a little fun vision just to go along with.
Absolutely.
But
one of the things that we talked about at the very beginning was a landing page, a assessment type thing. To give you an example, if you want to scan that on your phone, you take your photo, just point at the image with your camera, and it'll give you a little link. You click that link, or you can go to workflowsecrets.info/self-audit. It will open up a landing page, in which case you will be able to take what we call the assessment. And this will help you kind of identify some of the stumbling blocks or the things that you may be running into. And then we can, if you want, you don't have to fill at the very end. You can put in your information, who you are, and we can then give you some assessment information from that information that you've provided to us. So
these assessments are really cool because from a lead magnet standpoint, we used to have resources. You could still have resources, but those are, I trade my information, I get something. When you do something like an assessment, you're actually having your lead engage in the process. They're going through some sort of action. So what you have is a more engaged lead. They're much more likely to be a part of the process with you. And so that's kind of a cool way that you can evaluate, what's possible with that.
Yeah.
So, to kind of close, I guess if we were to capture what we really want to articulate to you guys, the next wave of AI value in work will come from systems that under context moving forward with the work that happens in real life.
Now, one of the things that we want to make sure that you guys understand, there are systems out there that are just building AI for AI's sake. It's just like, let's stick the word AI on this and hope that it gets sold. And that's kind of a bill of goods that you don't want. What you want is something that in your business, it's going to save you time. It's going to help you be more productive, more efficient in everything that you do. And that's what SAM's about. It's about using the technology in a way. There's studies out there where the idea was, we're going to lose jobs because of this AI thing or whatever. And a lot of people have lost jobs, but they're also figuring out real quick that AI isn't quite what it was geared up because of the use case that they were doing. And there are definitely good use cases and there are bad use cases. So just think about that in your own business. Do you really want to give AI full capability or not?
Yeah. So from here, thank you for attending today. If you were to ask me, Cody, how can I help you? We're always looking for introductions with agents and teams. If you work in software and you think to yourself, hey, my software would be great to integrate with your software, we'd love to have a conversation. We also like to partner up with real estate coaches. So if those are any folks that you think you could help us with, we would love to have a conversation. But other than that, if there's any way we can actually help you, we'd love to get the conversation to the next level and just keep this going. On the screen, you'll see our email addresses as well as our business cards with those QR codes.